everyone, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Sarah, and I hope you have enjoyed the cherry on top hop so far. Today we are all focused on stamping, and I'm going to do a lot of it. So I'm starting with a sheet of coconut swirl cardstock from Basil. I'm going to get my stamp positioner out, and we're going to stamp a background today. So I have this really fun, it's called Artistic from my favorite things, and it's basically like all these little blobs and hand-drawn like doodly shapes. It is absolutely perfect for scrapbookers. When you are scrapbooking and you want to incorporate stamps into scrapbook projects, you don't want images. It's hard. Let me rephrase that. I can't say that because you know what? Jessica, for this hop over at A Cherry on Top's YouTube channel, she has the most adorable layout using images. But for me, personally, let's say that, things like images and critters and people, I find them really hard to use on scrapbook pages. But images like this that are just geometric images, I can use those all day long. Things like rainbows and flowers and hearts and stars. Those are my absolute favorite kinds of. And the reason I love those images so much is because you can do what we're going to do today, which is create a pattern. So I am using what are my current favorite Catherine Puller stamp combinations. I don't know what it is about this color combination, but I find myself drawn to it right now. Maybe because it kind of reminds me of ice cream. Anyway, that first color is the green, and that's the winter green. Now I'm going to do a pink, and this is one of the newest Catherine Puller colors. This is the cotton candy pink. It's so pretty. I love this color. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp with the cotton candy pink. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamps, and I'm going to move all the blobs to a different part of my background. You'll notice I am not creating a full background. I am only creating like a half, and I'm kind of using a diagonal design. At this point, I had no clue what photograph I was going to use for my layout. I hadn't decided yet. I had some new pictures on my phone. I was trying to decide if I wanted to go ahead and print some of those. And so I was thinking in my head that maybe I would fill the other half of the paper with pattern, but you'll see I don't do that. Anyway, I'm just kind of playing right now, coming up with a pattern and a design that I like for this page. So I'm just moving all the blobs of stamps, and then the next color we're going to use is Whipped Honey, which is a beautiful yellow. And I'm actually letting the Whipped Honey overlap and mix a little bit with the cotton candy and with the green because they'll look okay together. So then I'm going to go ahead and move the little blobs one more time. And then the last set of blobs I'm going to use, I'm going to stamp in Cummerbund ink. Cummerbund is a beautiful kind of bluey aqua. It's super pretty. So there are all of my colors. And now I'm going to let those set a little bit so that the dye ink can really soak into the paper. Clean up my stamps, put my stamp platform away, and then, actually, no, I don't put my stamp platform away. But I am going to grab an acrylic block. So in addition to the blobs, which is what we were just stamping with, this stamp set also comes with like these doodly shapes. So I'm taking those doodly shapes and I am stamping them over top of the blobs just randomly, and I'm going to use all four of the same four colors of ink so that there's the little doodly frames and the blobs in all of the different colors. And then I'm going to let all of this ink kind of soak into the paper, and dry, because at this point we have layers and layers and layers of ink, and I want to make sure that it dries nice and crisp and clear. And here is the finished background then for our layout. Now I need to go pick out some photos. 2 photo options here, and I like both of them, which is really hard, but I decide to go with these 3 photos mostly because I felt like the 3 photos filled up the background a little bit better. And also I knew if I chose the 2 pictures of Ella, I would need some school something on this page. And I didn't think I had anything that would be, even a little bit school themed without changing up my color scheme. Sometimes that's just how you make decisions. So also, these 3 photos are older, and I have been trying really hard to finish my 2020 and 2021 photos. So this kind of felt like a good place, a good set of photos to document for this layout. I'm going to pair my background with some Prima products from the shop. I started by matting my 3 photos with this rainbow paper, and initially I think I meant to mat them with a larger border because I don't know that you can really see the rainbow paper very well, but that's okay. And then I also kind of wanted to incorporate more of it on this layout, but in the end I went ahead and didn't. So I just want to make sure this is nice and straight, because this layout turns out to be pretty simple. My title is going to be The Sweet Spot, and that is the name of the ice cream boba tea candy shop that we were at when I took these photos. But I am going to use the die cuts from that collection. And yes, I am mixing these floral kind of tropical die cuts with my blobby kind of abstract background. I think it works. I hope you guys think it works. As I was going through the background, I noticed that, or as I was going through the die cuts, I noticed that there was this really, really dark pink in a lot of the flowers. And I thought, you know what? I have the perfect stamp ink color, the Catherine Polar Party Dress. So that's what we're going to do for our title. I went through my stamps and chose this capital letter set from Wild Whisper. No, you're not going to use the gray. I was thinking about the gray. I was also thinking about like a dark chocolate color because there's dark chocolate in the whipped cream of my drink. But no. I'm going to start with the party dress ink, and I'm going to stamp my title, The Sweet Spot. These capital letters stamps from Wild Whisper are so fun. They're one of my absolute favorites. You can tell they're very well used. I know they were in the shop at one point. If they are still in the shop, I will link them up below. In fact, anything that I use on my layouts today that I can find over at a Cherry on Top that is still in stock, I will link. So I'm starting with the party dress ink color, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sweet spot, and then I'm going to go ahead and take the cotton candy pink ink. I have to get right on top of my stamps to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp a drop shadow. So that means I have to get right on top of what I am stamping, and I have to line the letters up just so. And it might be a little bit hard to see on camera, but in person, this looks so good. It gives a stamped title some depth, some dimension, just a little bit of something extra. I highly recommend this if you're good at stamping. If you're new to stamping, wait a little bit because it can get it's a bit tedious, and you have to really watch. Like, you have to get right above what you're stamping to do this drop shadow. But I love the results of it. It turned out really great. So you just kind of line the stamp set up, and then you go a little bit up and a little bit to the left, and then stamp again. I know it's a little bit hard to see on camera, but there are close-ups at the end of this video that shows it really well. So I'm going to go ahead and put all those drop shadows in, and then we're going to just go ahead and start embellishing, figuring out where we want all these pretty flowers to go. So I want my clusters to be to the left and to the right of my photographs, and then I want to cluster just some flowers around my title. That's my goal. And for flowers, I want to add some, there's like these little ferns that are the exact colors of my cummerbund blobs. So I really wanted to use those. And then I'm just going to layer up the bright pink and the light pink, the green. And then there are a couple peachy tones. I'm trying to stay away from those because I didn't add any of the any kind of peachy ink to my stamping. So I'm trying to stick just to the colors that coordinate with my stamped background. So these are the clusters that I decided on, and I'm just going to go ahead and get these clusters down on to my page. So in my photos, we have a coffee drink, which is brown. And then we have this like warm wood table that it's sitting on. So I went through my stash and I grabbed a couple of pieces of wood veneer, and I'm going to add those to my clusters. My reason for doing this is twofold. Number one, it pulls in some of those warmer tones from my pictures, and it also adds a little bit of the theme to our embellishments. So we have the flowers and the blobs and the abstract, and so now we need just a little bit of like that food theme, right? And so that's what these wood veneer pieces are going to do. And plus, it's always good to use up some of your stash. So I'm grabbing a piece of scratch paper because now I am going to splatter like crazy. I'm going to splatter all over this layout except on my photos. I'm using my favorite gold ink splatter, and we're going to splatter, 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 which is just going to add another level of detail and fun to this whole layout. And that is where we are going to call this layout done. Be sure to leave a comment below for a chance to win a $15 gift certificate to a cherry on top, and be sure to hop along to the next stop. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.